start our annual meeting, please. All open the window. We have the first agenda item is apologies for absence, and we have none. We are all here. Do any councillors have any personal or prejudicial interest to declare? No.
No.
Okay. The next agenda item is the election of the chairman and the vice chairman. Do we have any nominations for either?
Liz to have chairman.
Liz.
Okay.
Seconded.
Any other proposals for chairman at all? No. Okay, so what should we put that to a vote? Okay. Thank you.
The time we did
That's so unfair, Colin. Well, I've joined the unemployed, so I might do something worthwhile. Oh dear. And then we have the election of the vice chairman. Have we got any proposals?
I nominate Colin Reid.
I'll second that. Yes. Okay, any other proposals? You don't do that either. Can we have a show of hands, please? Unanimous as well.
Thank you.
Colin managed not to vote for himself, was he? The next agenda item is to approve the minutes of the Parish Council meeting held on the 6th of April 2016. Those have obviously been circulated in advance. I assume there are no further comments, or any further comments been made on those? No, that's fine. Can somebody please propose them?
No proposed.
Second? Okay. I assume unanimous, everyone approving? The next agenda item is the public participation. Does anybody here anything they'd like to raise at this point? Josie?
Yes, I wonder if the Parish Council could drop a nice letter to Dale. Summer's come at last, and the noise out of the backyard is horrendous. They don't realise that there's people living on top of their yard out the back, and it's been horrendous all day today. It's bang, bang, bang all day, particularly in the afternoons. I think it must all happen at the front yard, Western Roadside, and in the afternoon it must come around to the Aylesbury side, but it is quite horrendous actually, the banging, the barrels. I did go round there some time back and ask them if they could supply their men with mats, so they could drop them on mats instead of on the concrete, but they just drop them and roll them, so they must have hundreds of dented barrels, I would have thought, but it goes on continuously till after 6 o'clock at night. It was still going when I left to come up here.
Okay.
So it would be nice if you could send them a letter, because general public going round, they don't seem to take a lot of notice.
Toby?
My feeling is that's an AVDC issue. I mean, we understand there's a problem, but we don't have any power to enforce that, whereas environmental health will have an AVDC.
Can I just comment on that?
Yes.
We have had, I'd like to support Josie on that, we have complained constantly from the Burnhams about Dale. We've had noise abatement officers, we've had monthly monitoring sheets that we've completed. The officers have been over there time and time again. We have asked for mats. They have a daily pallet throwing competition, and it is just like someone being shot. It's like a war zone. I mean, literally, they throw the pallets off the back of the lorry, and it just goes constantly. And she's absolutely right. It's been going all day today.
Okay. I mean, I can see no reason why we can't write to them. Whether they will listen is a different matter, but I can see no reason why we can't write to Dale and see what they do. Okay. Paul?
Can I suggest that Clark writes to the managing director of Dale?
It's Tim Cooper.
Yeah,
I was just going to say it's still Tim, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And at the next stage will be the Bucks Herald or something if he doesn't do anything about it. I think it's
Yeah.
totally unreasonable to be in a residential area and just carry on as though it's an industrial park. It isn't.
Well,
Yeah.
we have had some success because they had reversing sirens which were on the forklift trucks. And through research on the internet we found that in America they're using air. So now when it's going backwards it's psh, psh.
Yeah.
So we have got rid of the sirens. But I suffer with it constantly because the lorries queue down the side of my house. And there used to be a speed hump. So every time the lorry went over the speed hump, the whole internal, all the barrels and everything all went up and down, and it was just like someone had dropped a bomb. And fair play to Tim, he did get those speed humps removed and replaced. But we have complained constantly about the pallets, because literally as the pallet empties, just as Josie said, they just throw them straight off the lorry. And it really is a problem.
Okay. Well, we'll write a letter and see what reaction we get back. Are there any other matters that the public would like to raise?
I read the clerk's report in the March minutes reviewing the year, and I know it sounds slightly North Korean, but I should like to thoroughly endorse you guys have done a wonderful job in this last 12 months. There's been the occasional moan and niggle, but you've done, I mean, let's not go into comparative science here, you've done very, very well this last 12 months, and I'd like to thank you for it.
Thank you very much, Keith. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. The next agenda item is to do with the council and running of the council. And the first point is to mention that Callie Birch has resigned, so we do have a vacancy on the council at the moment. We can co-opt a member if anybody's interested in doing that.
We have to wait until the 16th of May.
Yeah.
The 16th of May is the 10th working day since the notice of vacancy went up. If no election, then we can co-opt.
So if anybody's interested,
Get in touch.
Oh, yes.
the next item is the report from the ALA liaison meeting.
I attended that, that was my first meeting. I found it very constructive actually and interesting, but particularly since the two key people from ALA announced that they were resigning and moving on. And so I'll report again after the next one in July.
Oh.
Scared them off, John.
It was more or less simultaneous actually. But there are certain things that I thought that, were very interesting. A lot of the discussion was about the odour, but it really focused on about 4 individual houses. But it is rotten eggs, and I can sympathise with the poor devils that live next door to that. But they are very close to being at full production at the moment. So considering that they've got up to that point, and the learning curve for ALA, I think there's a certain amount of credit given them for the limited amount of disruption that's happened, in my experience, from the transport to our village, the disruption that happens. But it was a constructive meeting, and there was nothing really very significant that came out of it.
Okay. Thank you very much, John. Are there any comments on John from that report? Questions for John? Okay. We'll move to the next agenda item, which is the clerk's report.
Thank you. This week marks a year since this council first began as what was then a brand new council. As you've heard, we've already achieved more than most parish councils achieve in a whole 4-year term. We've had some ups and downs with councillors leaving and new ones joining, but I think it's fair to say that we do extremely well for 11 volunteers and 2 part-time staff. We're incredibly busy with never enough hours in the day to do everything, and could really do with being full-time as well as having a full-time park-keeper. We do ask that the public and also you, the councillors, are patient with us. We do our best to get back to people, to implement actions from meetings and to generally keep all the plates spinning at the same time. But if I could make one plea, it would be that this year could we please slow down a bit. A year of consolidation would be good to really finish off projects properly and consolidate the tremendous momentum from this year. I'm also hoping to streamline the work in the office with the installation of our new accounting package, which comes with a day of training, which is happening on May the 27th. Can we also please consider any training needs? We haven't really talked about training, we haven't had time to be too busy doing. But it's been a long time since the councillor induction training, and since none of us had really done any of this before, we may need to refresh and update. I'm halfway through my silver qualification, working towards a deadline of December to submit everything. And Elaine has attended 2 CPD courses with more planned. Councillor Wyatt has attended a day course on planning, and Councillor Reid has attended some seminars at AVDC. But BALC and the SLCC do have frequent courses if anyone wants to do anything else, some of which are now being held here at Green Park, so it's a bit more convenient. Other than that, we have lots to be excited about this summer with our revamped park and lots of new play provision and the relaunch of the youth club. The new play park equipment is being installed this week with the skate ramps hoping to be started the week after next, isn't it, I think? We hope. We're very excited actually that the little boy who started the whole play park project idea, Harrison, who is a wheelchair user who lives in the village, he has cerebral palsy. He's going to come and officially open it for us. When it's finished, his mum and dad have agreed to him coming to do that, so we'll do a ribbon or something. I think he's 4. Is he 4 or 5, Harrison? He's little anyway. He's a little boy. So yeah, we'll continue to do our bit to make Aston Clinton a great place to live.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We now get to the exciting part, which is the agenda item of governance, committees and processes. Do we go through this one by one?
Yep.
All the documents that this refers to have been sent out to every councillor with the request, I think some of them twice, with the request that we have read them before we come to the meeting. So I'm hoping that no one wasn't to start sitting reading things right now. Good. The first point is the governance documents, which is the review and adoption of standing orders, financial regulations and the code of conduct. Has everybody read those, and does anybody have any comments? No. Queries? No. Okay.
There are a couple of things in financial regulations. Did you get the envelope I dropped?
Yeah.
Elaine kindly dropped. There's a couple of things we need to tighten up on. It's nothing life-threatening that we're not quite doing by the book, but one of which is that someone other than a bank signatory has to sign off the reconciliation each month. So who would like to do that?
Could I suggest that you try and do it on a little bit of a rota? Because that then provides...
Both?
Yes.
Just one. No, Mike put his hand up.
Solid.
Mike put his hand up, we'll accept Mike.
I would
I can't do
rather
it.
have one person designated to do it. I was going to say, you're in and out all the time, Leslie. Could you
I don't mind
doing that? You have to count the money and tick the thing.
That's fine, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I've got a calculator. Yeah.
You don't need to count.
Okay.
You're on abacus. On abacus.
Maybe that.
We should probably mimic that these have been read and agreed then for
Yes.
another year.
Yes, I think that's a good thing. Pass a motion, have we?
No,
Have to agree.
I don't think so.
So if you go through every individual committee, the next one.
Yeah.
So the next agenda item is all the standing committees, reviewing and adopting the terms of reference and deciding the appointments to each of the committees. Obviously, this is our main committee, that's the main, which all of us should come to. Then, to go through the various committees after that, should we look at facilities first?
Yeah, right.
Should we look at the facilities
I would
chair?
like to draw the Council's attention to the fact that the terms of reference and the structure of the Facilities Committee states that it shall comprise of 5 members. Presently there have been 11 on it, which rather defeats the object of having a committee to report back to a council when the 2 are one and the same. And in my personal view, the terms of reference are that it shall comprise of 5 people, and then it should comprise of 5 people. In terms of who those 5 people should be, I believe that if we make correct use of the subcommittee structures, which enables every councillor to get involved within the subcommittees for the bits of facilities that they're particularly interested in, and the chairs of those subcommittees should form the core of the Facilities Committee, thereby creating the funnel that the committee and subcommittee structure was supposed to provide input to the main council. That's my observations on it.
I'd agree with that.
I'd agree with that too. It makes
Brilliant.
perfect sense. So the subcommittees that make up that committee are
They are
grounds and maintenance,
Yeah.
sports and recreation,
Sports and Rec and Community Centre.
community centre, and is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And additionally, I would suggest that we then have a chairman and vice chairman
Or what the
of
calling
the
myself?
facilities committee itself.
Okay.
So,
Not about the planning committee.
That's standalone, separate.
Oh,
That's
okay.
What are the minimum numbers from required to remain quorum?
three.
Three.
Three. So it's just you have just 5 members.
Yeah, I mean, it does say within, I'm sure you've already within standing orders that on committees it is possible where people can report an absence up to at least 5 days in advance to the proper officer, being Jill. We can put substitute members into committees. So you can remain quorum within that. You could have another, if, for argument's sake, Leslie was chair of the grounds maintenance committee and couldn't make a meeting, if, provided she gave 5 days notice to Jill that she couldn't make it, it's possible for another member of the grounds maintenance committee to take Leslie's place at the next meeting. I'm sure you read that in standing orders.
Of course.
Well, that's the
We've
same as the
already-
forest chairman, isn't it?
Just say yes.
Pardon?
Say yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
So basically we're saying there will be
You're
5
wrong.
members of this committee, 3 chairmen of various councils, and then myself and Colin.
Well, whatever, whoever is chair and vice chair of the facilities committee. It need not be the chair and vice chair of the council.
But then there's only 3 standing, only 3 subcommittees, so you can have 2 other people
Yes.
that aren't chairmen of subcommittees.
Yes.
Okay. So do we decide the actual members now, or just the number?
it does say appointments to committees, but you were saying...
I don't know, I've having done it for a year, felt sometimes you were never sure which meeting you were addressing. And as time went on, the subcommittee structure disappeared because everybody was doing everything. And it lacked the focus that it had at the very beginning.
I agree. So that basically don't need to decide the actual members now, do we? Because
Well,
it will
I
depend
see-
on the numbers that
yeah,
comes in the subcommittees,
Exactly. I suggest if everyone comes on the 6th, when's the next one?
Next week. It's 16th, isn't it? Whatever it is.
Yeah, it's not next week.
No, we can't.
Next week after. Anyway, if everyone comes as they normally would, and then I'll put it as the first agenda item, and we'll sort it out on the night.
I mean, they're only my thoughts on it based on the year's
Okay.
experience.
Well, let's
But
leave it
is
to that for that meeting then.
Are you sure? Because it might mean some people then turn up and then go home.
Well, they go to the pub.
That's
right?
true.
It's up to you, as long as
Well,
it's attended to.
if we sort out now the composition of the subcommittees, who's going to be on the subcommittees, then we'd know who.
Shall we stay with ours?
We still need to go and vote the chairman for that meeting. We can't decide the membership of the facilities committee until we know who the chairman are of these subcommittees.
The rules say that we should be deciding the composition of the committee, but the chairman and vice chairman should not be decided until the first meeting of that
They're
committee.
elected by the group.
That's right, so therefore we can't decide who's going to go to the facilities committee meeting until such time as we elect the chairman of the subcommittees. We can't, if we're agreeing that,
Bottom up.
yeah, if we're agreeing that the chairman of the subcommittees,
I suppose.
we can't, okay, if you think logically, if we're agreeing that the chairman of the 3 subcommittees sit on the facilities committee, we can't decide who is going to be sitting on the facilities committee until we've decided who's on the other
I
committees.
suggest we do it now then.
So we best do it now.
Could I just ask how everybody else feels about what we're talking about?
No, I can see where you're coming. Yeah, I agree, but I think it should be sorted now, actually.
It's exciting
And
stuff, isn't
everyone
it?
knows when the next coming to
Yeah.
meeting or not.
Yeah.
Okay, so should we therefore go for the sorry, Colin?
Just a quick one. So you're saying 5 total members on the facilities committee. And then you suggested that if one was missing, if with 5 days' notice you could substitute somebody else. I thought when you said that you could substitute someone from a non-facilities committee, because it's not helping you to make it quorum, is it?
Yes,
If you're
perhaps
missing-
you're right, it's someone from it's someone who isn't on the facilities committee could be.
But would be on a subcommittee.
In order to make it quorum.
They still have to be on the subcommittee of the facilities committee.
No,
No, any committee, it doesn't matter, just any
Oh,
old
that's any
councillor,
councillor,
any old
basically.
councillor will do.
Okay, that's fine
But
then.
as long as they have 5 days
But it may
notice.
well be that...
No, that's fine. I just got the impression it had to be someone on the facility. in which case it
Anyone,
was no help.
any one of us will do, provided we
Yeah,
have 5 days notice.
okay.
Okay, well, let's discuss then the other committees that comprise of the facilities committee, which is the ground maintenance committee, the sports and recreation, and the
Community centre.
community centre. So let's do ground maintenance first. Who's on that committee at the moment?
I'd have to get my phone.
Well, I think we should know which committee we're on. So who's on that committee at the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely on it.
Okay. So
John's thinking about it.
well, I think that membership, if everyone's happy with that, can stay the same.
Yes.
If everyone wants,
Yes.
unless anybody
Yeah,
else would like to be involved.
No,
in
I
that
think you
committee.
need quite a few people now.
You're not going to get everyone to every meeting, are you?
Yeah,
So,
quite. I think
Does
what
anybody
we've got
else wish to
six
be on that
is-
committee? So numbers, put your hands up again on that committee now. So that Joe actually can, yeah. Is there anybody else who wants to be on that committee? You're
I first co-opted to one of them, I think it was that.
I think you might be right.
You're on the main facilities committee.
Haven't been here
No,
since-
it's grounds maintenance.
Graduated.
Oh, is
Right.
it?
Special responsibility for footpaths.
Yes.
Does anybody else
Yes, he
want
was.
to be on this committee? The answer is no.
Plenty.
Okay, so what about the sports and recreation? Oh, I know I'm not on that one.
No,
That's
that's,
us,
yeah, that's
isn't
fine.
it? That's just us two.
I'm
No,
chairman.
that's Susie.
And Susan's
Oh.
chairman. And just us three, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Callie was on that one, wasn't she?
Oh,
Yes, she
okay,
was. So
that's
we
it,
could
yeah.
do with
Yeah.
one more member on that committee then, okay? And then we've got the subcommittee, the community centre. I think that can stay as it is, can't it? Unless everybody else wants to be on it? No, okay. So but we can't, we still have to go back to those subcommittees to elect the chairman, so we can't decide who will go to this committee yet.
You can elect them now.
Well, could we elect the chairman?
Uh,
We should really elect the chairman at the actual meeting, shouldn't we?
yes, that's what the rules say.
Yeah. So we can't let the chairman here, we have to go back to each subcommittee. But that's fine, we know what we're doing on facilities, we're agreeing that the chairman of each of these subcommittees and 2 other people will go on the facilities committee.
Can I just ask a question?
Hmm.
Does this mean then that anything that's up for discussion on the facilities agenda would need to have been previously discussed with the appropriate subcommittee, and
Yes.
then the chairperson of that subcommittee will be just giving the vote as per
We'll-
the decision of the sub? Because what I'm conscious of is, in my experience, we've made a few decisions as a council throughout the year on various different things, and some of them we've got absolutely spot on. Some of them, in hindsight, perhaps we would have done slightly differently. And I'm just conscious that, not always, but in many instances, more heads are better than 2 heads are better than
But
one.
most of the major decisions will come to the actual council meeting.
Okay.
The rules are that the subcommittee will submit reports to the main committee via agenda items for business for next meeting. That will then be recommended from that committee back to full council, where everybody gets.
Yeah.
An input.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So that I think finishes the facilities committees and all the relevant committees, isn't it? The next.
Can I just add then that we should have the facilities committee this month as normal, and then after that we should probably have 3 separate ones to then feed in
Yes.
in the future.
Yes.
I would like to suggest that perhaps at the next meeting we only deal with ongoing business and use that as point 0 going forward for the next year.
Yes. Okay. So the next subcommittee is planning, perhaps? Who's in the planning committee at the moment? Anybody? I mean that's a
Have we
reasonable
got-
number.
John Watkins, co-opted member, and Tony Whittam, into one co-opted member.
That's right. Does anybody else here want to go on planning? No, don't all jump up and down. Okay, so that is any reason to change that committee.
You haven't asked him who wants to get off.
I'm not asking you to go on strike. We only
She's
just
not going, she's not
we
going.
only just quorum this week.
That's very clever, isn't it, really?
I'm not asking you to come off facilities. We're only just planning, only just quorum. One more person gone. I'm ignoring you. I'm not allowed to speak as I asked to anyway, so. Neighbourhood Plan Committee.
It's us again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's-
Keith's over there.
Oh, look, there's one over there.
And
And
Ed.
Ed's here as well.
Oh, hello, Ed.
Yeah.
So don't think you need to change.
And, yeah, Tony Winthrop was on that as well.
Don't need to change that committee unless someone else wants to go on to the Neighbourhood Plan Committee. We are short of someone with Excel experience.
Yeah, Nigel's
Got what?
Excel
Excel.
experience. Excel.
Oh, yeah, aren't we just?
I said I'd try. I'm going to try.
He does Excel. He's still here.
You know.
It means updating the neighbour. It means updating the plan. We've got it in Excel, and it means updating the whole thing. Completely update.
Plan after every meeting.
I mean, I'm not over volunteering, but
I will try. But if you can, if you can do Excel, then I think I'm not trying anymore, and I think that was a volunteer.
Linda's going to help him.
Thank you, Ed.
That's wonderful.
Really appreciate it. The next committee is Finance and Staffing. Who's on that committee? We mentioned in passing to me this morning that we are a bit, because I was in here this morning, we're a bit short on that, and so I did say that I would volunteer to go on that committee.
Good.
Their intention to get that full time.
She's trying to get on every committee.
Sorry?
She's trying to get on every committee.
Didn't do too bad. It's one short at the moment.
It's one I'm not on, sure.
It's because we don't have a staffing subcommittee functioning.
Oh, so she's got to do it.
Well,
Well, she's actually, that's been her
I've two
career.
jobs.
That's her
HR
job.
director
Her job.
and legal
Well,
director,
she's
so.
the office person. I'm calling you
Yeah.
she.
The chairman.
That's her field
I've
of
got that, I've got.
expertise.
I might as well do it.
Absolutely.
They might be out of work for years yet. Have I missed any subcommittees?
Must be one there, Chairman, for you.
I'm only on, I'm not on, Church.
Did you put your hand up?
No.
Have I missed any, subcommittees? I covered them all, that's it. Done. Okay. That's done. Wonderful, thank you. Processes, policies and procedures. These policies were all sent out to you about 2 weeks ago, and then I believe again yesterday.
Yeah.
I think they're
Sorry about
marvellous.
that.
And it includes from its complaints, communications, some of these are new policies that we put in this year. Data protection, equal opportunities, diversity policy, they're all new policies. So I assume that everyone has read, understood, and no further comments. I don't think we need any more policies at the moment, do we? No, good. Land assets and insurance. The review of the policies, including risk management and asset register. I have reviewed the insurance policy and been through it, and I have a few questions, but nothing but just about coverage and the amount. So that's something we can discuss at the correct committee. The policy isn't actually up for renewal until October, and then we can actually go through, I think, some of it. Just questions that I've looked at, I've never seen before, but I don't think there's any issues there, so I think we can all be happy. The insurance covers what it's meant to cover, at least for the time being. The asset register, I'm looking at that too. And I'm going through that and updating it. I'm going to update the thing, the compound with Leslie. The rest of it, I'm going to rewrite that and give that back to Jill. We also have a risk register, which I'm sure none of you are aware of, but I in fact wasn't aware we had it, but I'm rewriting that too. So that's being done as well. I haven't got a document. So I think there's no issues there. I think they're all in hand. They all have to be done. Stop it being done, please.
Sorry, Chairman.
So they're all going through.
I think that thank you for taking one for the team.
Yes.
Say on all of those.
Absolutely.
That's worth a yellow card, isn't it?
Thank you. I don't mind. It's actually the risk management is what I also do. I do risk management as well as law, so it's not that difficult for me. The bit that I can't do is the financial. It's the next point in here, and that's the approval of the bank mandate, review of rents, including peppercorns and the tenancies. Again, this is all sent out to all councillors by Jill in the last week. So there's no reason why we haven't looked at the tenants that we've got, which arranged the allotments, obviously Cafe in the Park, and the bank mandated just signatories, is that right?
Yes, is everyone happy? That remains as myself, Alan and Liz as the 3 signatories.
Yeah. And is it 2 signatures for any cheque or only of a
I
certain
can't even
amount?
tell you the last time we wrote a cheque.
Oh,
I think I've
okay.
written one since I've been in this job.
Right.
So I've already signed one.
So if you backed in something
They're
then,
all backs.
it just, is there any, you just do that, do
Well,
you? Up to a
they
certain
come
amount?
to each meeting for approval. That's the list that you get,
Yeah.
which you'll get again this
And
evening.
then you just go ahead
And that's
and
how they get approved.
Okay,
Yeah.
right, fine.
Madam Chairman.
Could I just
Peter.
ask, all the figures for like the peppercorn rent and tenants, is that for last year or is that figures going to be for the current, for the financial year?
It's current, isn't it?
Yeah.
Those were last year's. Sorry, I missed the question. What
The figures for the peppercorn rent
Yeah, that
and the
was- those are
tenancies, they're all last
That's
year's,
the
so,
last payments that we've had.
so
So
they're,
if you wish to review them, you could.
okay.
Yeah.
Colin?
I would like to review them, yes. I see
Yeah.
that the tennis club pays nothing, is that
I
correct?
couldn't find a payment for them.
How do we all feel about that?
I don't even know they've got a rent agreement, have they? Any kind of rental agreement at all?
That's what I mean, have they got any?
No one's got a rent agreement.
No.
No. I mean, we have put, as you know, a draft tenancy agreement to the youth club now, with provision at the moment of a £20 annual rent. Just because I want
How much, sorry?
£20 a year annual rent. Well, we're supporting them and assisting them. I've put that in there deliberately so we have the right, should things change.
Puts you on a different legal footing when you pay a rent, doesn't it?
And it also gives us the right to increase that rent if we so wish. So they are going to have a proper tenancy agreement, not a lease, a tenancy agreement which explains what their responsibilities are and what our responsibilities are, who they can rent it out to, and what their processes are if they sublet it. Now, that's with Peter Rice, one of the committee members at the moment for approval, and he wants to go through it with me. But it may be sensible, maybe something to be done this year, for us to put proper tenancy agreements in place with all the people that we have tenancies with, not the allotments.
Well, I was going to say we do have to.
Yes, the allotments are fine.
No, just the tennis club seems to be a glaring exception.
Yeah.
Could I suggest that this sounds like that we should be having a working party to take this as a particular project and look at the areas that it covers? We know that the cafe is covered, we know that
Yes.
the allotments are covered, we know that the youth clubs in the process of being covered, but we should have a working party to look at the 2 remaining areas and bring them in line with what's becoming standard practice.
Okay, I agree with that. I think it's sensible. Okay, so we're all happy with that? That's the way forward on this particular agenda item?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just one last point on that.
Yeah, of course, Colin.
If you you're going to working parties review all that,
Mm.
are they going to look at what we charge as well? Is that up for review?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Jen, I do believe a few months ago we reviewed all the rents in the finance committee, because I remember it being put to full council as well. So
Okay, so we have
and we
done
did
that.
increase some of the rent, if I remember, or we made a change to one of them.
Okay.
I can't remember
I don't
the
recall
detail.
that, to be honest, but that might
But
be.
I think we did review the rents
yeah.
in finance, and it went to full council, but I could be mistaken, so could we check the records? But
I agree. Let's check the records and see if we did that, because if we've gone through that process of reviewing all the rents.
No,
and I can't remember about the tennis
I don't
club.
know that whatsoever, but I'll check the minutes.
I have the mirror.
It's like,
Maybe I dreamt it.
Oh, it was the
We did
fitness.
check
It's
the
like
park
fitness
rental.
regimen.
It was
The park
Those went
rentals,
up.
those were reviewed.
you know,
So
those.
you did
Well, that'd be
Reg
fitness,
Fit.
Yeah.
That's
and
it,
all
it
of
was
those,
those.
Yeah,
Okay,
we did
thank
do
you.
that.
Yeah.
But not like the
Yes.
little peppercorn rents and things we haven't.
Okay, thank you. So I did dream it. Thank you.
Not quite. Okay, so we're all happy on that particular item. Anything more to be added on to do with rents?
Is that an FNS job then, this
No, I
working
believe it's
party?
facilities.
Okay.
I was just trying to dig out my terms of reference. I'm fairly certain that comes under facilities.
Okay, yeah. The last agenda item on this particular point is the external relationships, delegations and subscriptions. And this is the ALA liaison, local area forum, Anthony Hall committee, and a few others as well. We have representatives for all of these at the moment, I believe. Are we keeping those, Peter?
Could I just say, Chair, no, we haven't, not for the Anthony Hall, just to remind the Chair that
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Where
you
will we-
voted to go.
I was, wasn't
Yeah,
I?
but it's not just to go, it's to have a representative on the Anthony Hall committee, not just to make a one-off appearance.
But it clashes with our meetings as a council.
Is that the one that
that's
Liz volunteered for in her
In
absence?
absence,
Yeah.
that's right.
But
But,
I didn't turn up because I lost my job, you mean? That's mean, wasn't it? Mean.
Yes.
but it's,
That's a very valid point, though. You won't actually be able to go.
no, it's only one-off, isn't it? Because
Is it once a year?
it's only just for the
Is it
AGM.
really?
Well, whenever, no, not once a year,
Okay.
but whenever at the committee meetings, yeah.
I'm happy to go, but can we find out, can we see if we can find out when it is?
I think it's on a Wednesday.
Yes, the
Well,
first
it's-
Wednesday,
well, the
it's
AGM
tonight
is-
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they really only meet once a year then? Or
Well, this is the AGM on June the
Oh, so
22nd.
that's what they need a representative for?
Yeah,
is
but they
it?
want somebody to
Why does that
actually
date
sit on
sound
the
familiar?
Anthony, on their
Because we've got
committee.
Oh, wait, never mind, I'll take it offline. We have also got one other committee now that we have an external relationship with, which is the youth club committee, of which I'm on it.
You're on it?
Yeah.
Well, I know. Well,
Amazing.
I just can't believe that.
Shocker.
God, dear. My goodness
We
me.
discussed, yes. But on the other committees though, is there some, have we got somebody in every single one of these? Obviously, John went to the Arla.
Yeah, well, Peter usually goes to the local area forum.
Yeah.
I've
No.
done one of those funny ones with the letters after.
Yes, you do the one at the Balk one.
Balk, is
that
it?
You have done one.
Yeah.
We've sort of let that slide because it didn't look like such a priority.
No,
to go.
didn't they recommend the it was they wanted us to go more to the other one, the AVAL, is it?
AVALC,
The Aylesbury Vale Association of Local Councils. Hey,
Nobody wanted to go though. I did circulate that email.
I think I was.
Well, you're
I was
not
busy,
busy.
wasn't I will, you know, much as it's
Colin's going to go
it's
to that
really
one.
Excellent.
absolutely, I can't use the English language well enough, but yes, okay, I'll make an effort there.
Okay, we're happy with the rest.
All right, I'll let you know the dates, Colin.
Okay, I think that finishes that agenda item. The next agenda item is the Finance and Staff Committee and their report.
We've got, Jill, did you want to pass around there?
Yes, sorry. I have to say that I had hoped to present the annual return at this point, but I just haven't had time to finish it. I have to finish it by Tuesday though, because we're being audited on Tuesday. So could you all leave me alone on Friday and Monday, please?
It cancelled the Heritage Club meeting, I think, yes.
Leave it alone.
Oh,
Do you mind?
Friday,
No, no, no.
Will you
Yeah.
go and I'll...
Russell
No,
and
no,
John
no,
take
no,
that.
the Heritage Week's
That's
got
all
the
right.
application.
Well, it's between you and I, that
can
one,
listen.
isn't it?
Well, I'll read it all day.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
I've nearly done it, I just can't get it to balance. So, it will, it'll be fine. I just
Oh, sorry.
You can take it home tonight and I'll have it tomorrow.
Yeah, no, so it's just, as you said, if we can look at the end of the month financial situation report and then also review any of the invoices. So if there's any questions on those?
Yes, I'm sorry, I should have had a motion in there to approve the payments.
No, you've got
You
that.
have.
Yeah, you've got that, you've
Yeah.
got that.
Here it is.
Oh, I've got the wrong copy is why. Got the first draft.
Get some oil.
I just have one very small question on the Sharp Electrical. Did we get any further? So let's say that about
The breakdown of costs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or-
I mean,
or
the-
getting another quote or something.
We're not getting. We have no current need to put it out to tender. There is a variability on the different parts because we don't have uniform bulbs. Some cost more than others.
Right.
The labour rate is exactly the same, and what he does is waits until there is enough to make it worth him bringing the
The
cherry picker out. So usually he won't go out for one unless it's something that he's doing quickly. So he'll go out for 2 or 3. But I'm pretty confident.
You're happy with it?
Yeah, I've been liaising with my opposite number lamppost monitor at Pitstone Council, and they went through a process, and although they've got a sort of a far more formalised arrangement, the costs weren't
comparable,
any dissimilar.
Okay, so great, that's fine, thanks David. Well.
Could I just ask a question on the lampposts? You said that the bulbs and things were sort of variable and non-standard. Are we proposing to have a programme that as he replaces them, we then standardise them so that the cost of repairing a lamppost is a standard cost?
Correct. We're going. The ambition is to have low voltage LED at some point because of the savings on power. I've asked Martin. Is it Martin? Martin to date, which he's got all the records of those that we need to address first. There are certain roads and closes that have got the old, so it's not just the lamps, it's the pole and the lamp. So in an ideal world, and I think we've put something into the preset budget, didn't we, Jill, for a rolling replacement. I can't remember, I should know how many lampposts we've got, but it's going to take, if you do it piecemeal, it'll take the next 3 or 4 years, but we're prioritising on the older ones.
Can I ask a question? Sure. It's you, visual.
It's me.
Yes, it's definitely for
Far
you.
away.
The cafe turnover rent, the estimate, are you dealing with that?
Yes.
Do they, okay.
They've given me some figures, which I haven't yet shared with anybody, which are exactly as I expected. They've not been audited. They don't need to be audited. They will lodge their company accounts, but for our balancing payment, Nick has already given me a spreadsheet which identifies the turnover, the amount we're due, and the balancing payment, less the base rent. So
And that will go in this year's money, not...
Well, it'll go, we're paid monthly, aren't we, Jill?
Okay.
So the reconciliation will be annually. So you look at the turnover at the end of the year, how much is the turnover compared to the base rent, and if there's a gap, they pay us the balance on a one-time payment.
Okay, all right. I thought it was coming in.
You say so just on the base rent again. Is that a monthly payment?
They pay monthly, yes.
Just the amount that's how we got to that figure. What period is that representative of?
It's a rising base rent. Their first year was £5,000, I believe. It's raised to £7,500 this year. It will go up to £10,000 in the third year.
So I think the 6660 because it didn't start at the beginning of the financial year, was it?
Correct, it was from July.
That's why I said
sorry, well no, so it wasn't actually. Their occupation started in July, but their revenue period was 3 months. Sorry, that's why it doesn't tally on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Colin.
The repairs to the pavilion, 1625, what's that for?
That was agreed at a council meeting about 3 or 4 council meetings ago.
Was it guttering and stuff like that, was it?
Guttering, pointing, windowsills, toilet handrail, damp inside the men's loo.
Okay, and that's all been done, has it? Excellent, and we're happy with what they did?
Yeah.
Yeah, good, great, thank you.
Okay, any other comments on the financials? In which case, can we go for the motion to approve the list of invoices for payment? And that's proposal. Susie, second. Show of hands for those who approve the invoices for payment, please. No. Thank you. The next committee is the planning committee. Colin is our chair for planning, but wasn't able to attend the last meeting, so I'm the vice chair that one, so I've chaired that meeting. The meeting had, I think we had 5 small applications in from the village, literally extending houses. One was knocking down an agricultural building and replacing it with a slightly better, a newer agricultural building. And we agreed not to object to the majority of those. There was one where we did object to, which is on London Road. We felt that it was an extension at the back of the house, which we felt was completely could dominate the next house. You went to see that quite,
Yeah,
didn't you?
yeah, I remember the one you were talking about.
So we have-
101 or something, I think it was.
Yeah, so we have actually objected to that. The main focus of this meeting was on the Woodlands development. We've had all the documents and plans here, or outlined whatever they are, for the Woodlands. And we had some quite detailed discussion on what we thought about it. I mean, our general view is it will happen, probably, and everything else seems to happen. And that possibly in the future we may want to meet and negotiate some concessions for the village. But we felt at the moment that the best stance was to object strongly to the Woodlands development, because we don't approve it as a village. It's in largely in Aston Clinton Parish, and obviously our reason for objection is we are halfway through our neighbourhood plan, more than halfway through our neighbourhood plan, therefore they can wait till the neighbourhood plan is finished until they do any more development. So we have written and sent back on the deadline a letter and objecting, and we've asked the chairman of the Bucks Advantage to come and meet with, I think, Elaine, myself and Colin. And Elaine's trying to set that meeting up at the moment, so we can actually meet with him and talk to him about exactly what Woodlands is likely to involve. We know there'll be a road, supposedly 1,100 houses, all sorts of, not necessarily doctors and not necessarily a school. So we're having that meeting, and then I think after that meeting we intend to write in more detail to ABDC about the proposal.
Okay.
And the other part of the planning report is the neighbourhood plan, which I will
Okay.
consider.
Then, really the last month has obviously been the completion of the survey, and what were the figures? There was over 400 in the end, wasn't it, altogether?
465.
465, yeah, that's it. Which actually is a very good return in terms of dwelling houses, which are about 1,600 dwellings, so to get 465 back. I know it's not people, but a lot of people seem to tend to put one in per household rather than send separate ones in, and they're able to do. And our consultant Sue and Jenny, I think, we're both pleased with the number of results we've got back. That's being collated at the moment. The printed ones are going to have to be inputted in to the online sort of survey as well, and that's all going to be put together, and we're going to get a summation from the guy that's doing that for us in terms of so we can take that forward, know what we're looking at and what we're going to do, and that's going to happen. We've got a meeting, I think, with consultants on the 22nd.
Oh, that's fine, remember that date.
That's it. I knew there was a meeting consulted 27th of June. The
Yeah.
results will be back
Right.
probably by the end of May.
May.
early.
So by then we'll know where we're going to go with it, and then shortly after that next month we'll be calling in all the specialist subjects as well. That's going to have to be incorporated into it, the topics.
So it's moving ahead, isn't it?
So it's moving ahead, yeah. We're sort of over halfway through it now, and hopefully with a good response we should get some good feedback.
Okay. Any questions for anybody on planning or neighbourhood plan? No? Okay, we move now to the Facilities Committee report. Alan.
Well, following the last meeting, I mean, we haven't gone any further on anything. In so much as the meeting was only 2 weeks ago. The general point at the moment is that it's business as normal. Having done the review of the terms of governance and some of the standing orders, and particularly in financial regulations, I find that we are remiss on one quite major subject, which is our 3-year budget proposal. And going forward, that is an agenda item that has got to be picked up, in that our own governance papers say that we should have a 3-year projection for budgeted items for everything for the Facilities Committee, and that should be maintained at 3 years ongoing. We basically struggle for a year, and we should be 3 years in advance by October. The other things that come to mind are that we should also be starting to contemplate, as we get the subcommittee structures working properly, that we need to be considering what the rental arrangements will be with the Colts and the football club going forward, because we're now getting to the point in the season where we should be looking at next year and starting to get ahead of the game. And ahead of the next meeting, we also need to at least get onto the agenda is the course of action that we are proposing for recovering the pathway as per Hayden's, and also the long-term finish for the area where the spore's been deposited. So it's more about looking forwards than backwards, but having read the terms of reference and the financial regulation, I do find that we've been a little bit remiss. And again, that's what sort of brought me along to the conclusion that structurally we weren't geared up for it because of not enough focus being given within specific groups.
The item 2 here is the K Park finding arrangements and recommendations.
Oh, sorry, yes. Do you want to talk about that, Alan, or do you want me to?
Yeah, no, I'll talk about it because I believe the consensus from the working party was that we would go for straightforward, plain wet ball. Jill came up with the idea of motifs, but having read the email several times now from Kalu, I don't believe that the motifs that they were proposing were the motifs that we were thinking of. I believe theirs were sort of metre-high structure things that sit in the middle, which to me is just something that's waiting to get broken down or whatever, as opposed to something that was flat and decorative that people could walk over. So what I believe the consensus, well, I don't know the consensus on that one. On the plain wet board, it's just simple, straightforward, plain. What colour? I don't know.
Well, it's black, unless you want that flecked.
You can't sort of have it green instead of black.
No, well, it costs whatever it was
Right,
for that
so
it's flecked, is
it's
when
black.
you get a colour in it.
It's black. The motifs. Now, I mean, we haven't had time to get back to them because we only got the information today. If they were to lay flat and be like a picture of a squirrel eating its nuts, a picture of a
An aeroplane or a football.
yeah, or a holly tree or whatever.
Yeah.
If they were the sort that lay flat within the surface, then they were £200 each, and the recommendation was for 3 between each of the ride sections. If it brightens it up and it makes it a little more interesting, I don't have a view that's against. I think anything that makes it a little bit brighter is better. I was the lone voice that would have gone for the fleck.
Do you have enough 106 money for it? So
Yeah, it's £600.
Yeah, but it's £600 and 106 money, is
Yes.
it?
yeah.
Well, no, the flecked was 1,000.
No, we're about the motifs. If they were flat, if they were flat,
Yeah.
then we should go back to Kalu with no commit. If they're not the right sort of motifs, then we wouldn't do it. But if they were what we thought what we originally asked if they were,
Might have been doing.
and then the council is happy to agree to the £600.
Is that what this motion is for?
Yes, yes.
They need to know by like tomorrow, because
Yeah.
as you know, they've started. So
So what are we proposing?
We are proposing that if the motifs are the flat ones that go in to just make a little bit of relief within the surface of the play park, that we go ahead and do that. If they're not that, then we don't do it. Then we leave it just plain as it is.
So you're proposing that?
Yes, I propose that.
Anyone seconding it? Show of hands.
sorry,
Well,
you seconded it.
Not going to ask us, those against.
Right.
Those against, yeah. One. Okay.
What would you have preferred then?
Just plain. Just leave it as it is.
But that's what we are doing.
No, without
No,
motifs.
Not with that motion, you're not.
That motion.
If the
that motion's
motifs,
lost.
if the motifs turn out that we've misinterpreted the email and they're actually flat, then we will have the 3. If they're not flat, then we will have none.
Yeah. Yeah.
monitor that.
Okay, there's one further item under this Facilities Committee, which is to agree what we're going to do with some 106 money that may come our way. As you know, the land behind Elsie Road, the 50 houses, was passed last week at Elsie District Council, despite our opposition, and despite it being refused last time. I won't say any more. But we will have 170,000, if this development goes ahead, there's £170,000 of 106 money that will come our way. And we have to agree on a suitable project for the allocation of that money. Toby,
Can I make a plea?
you may make a plea. What is that plea for? I can't guess.
Seeing as we have a mountain to climb still, and the community centre is still the biggest project that we have, it would take our total visible sum up to £905,000 out of the 2.2 spend, estimated spend. I'm also conscious that that total includes some which may not get built.
Yeah.
So we're sort of one step forward, possibly two steps back, and anything we can do to lessen the need for additional funding through borrowing or whatever else, I would welcome and would ask for support for that, unless there are other projects that would need it more.
Does anybody else have any other projects they'd like to propose, Peter?
Yeah, it's probably not as a need for more, but one of the things I'd like to see, and it's not even looked at yet, is the big horse chestnut tree at the corner of Stablebridge Road. Years and years and years ago, used to have a nice seat around it. Basically, I'd like to see all the ivy taken off the bottom and just a nice seat put around the bottom again to enhance that part of the village.
I agree with that. But that would be a small amount of 106 money.
Yes, it would be. It wouldn't be a massive amount, but that's what I'd like to see, some of that go towards that.
Hopefully we'll have something at smaller developments that will perhaps provide for that. Paul was next, I think.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I just think, we don't need 170,000 to do a bench around a tree and tidy it, so we could do that out of precept if we've got spare cash in the year, or as you say, another small development or something. So
I agree. I don't know if there's any 106 money left over generally. I'm not sure the balance could get.
There may be.
Yeah, so it might be enough.
Note of that.
Might be enough for that particular
You
project.
never really know until all the invoices come in, and then you have to do the sums
I think it
again.
was Colin next, and then Colin.
Yeah, can you split the allocation on 106 money? Could we say £2,000 to that and the rest of the total, or does it all have to go to one project?
I believe you can split it.
Goes up to a certain amount of projects, doesn't it?
As long as it's new projects, I believe you can split it.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go, it's an option.
Can I just make one, in relation to that, sorry, I know I'm out of order.
You are,
As in
something
out
like
of,
that.
not out of order, but out of
Just got the
Go on then, mate.
Go on, Mike.
Just in support of Toby's previous request, having looked at some of the financials and alternative sources of funding, getting across a 50% threshold does make a substantial difference to the options that may be available and sources of funding. So certainly in support of putting towards the large project.
Okay, thank you.
I
Leslie.
knew I'd forget. No. Do we have to decide now what the money's going to? Because there's,
Yes.
there's,
There's a motion there.
okay. Can we just, Jill, can we bear in mind that there's things that you're having a meeting next week, aren't you, with the allotment people?
Yeah.
Okay, and part of that, I've got a list of charities that we're going to approach, but it might be that a new thing that I've got in mind could be funded by 106, but I just don't...
But again, it wouldn't be big money, would it?
No, it's only small money.
So again, I think it either have 106 money over maybe, or there might be a smaller type development that might produce some more 106 monies.
Fair enough.
The secondary point I was going to make is that this will represent our last slug of 106 to the project.
It is.
Therefore, I'd quite like to maximise it, because I don't see any more of that size on the horizon.
Well, that's not quite true. There's Longhorn Farm.
That's already in Jill's allocation.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
If you count down 91 then?
Okay.
You count down 91 in that?
Yeah.
This would be our fifth one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
The Longhorn Farm's gone down, hasn't it?
I'd like to support Toby in what he's requesting, but equally I'd like to support Peter and Leslie in what they're requesting, but suggest that the items that they're proposing are items that should be put to the Facilities Committee as an agenda item to get some costings on, in that they sound, particularly things like benches, should be precept items, not 106 items, and because that's part of the ongoing life of the village.
Well, I agree. I agree. I agree. So let's discuss that at the next Thursday's committee report.
Thank you, Chairman. We're saying it's the last 106 money, which it could be for a while, but you just mentioned the Woodlands project earlier, which is 1,100 houses. might get us £1 million, you don't know. But I don't know how far off that is, and if it doesn't fit in the roadmap of the community centre development, then it might be too late. But it's not the end of it, is it?
No, it's not. I suspect that that will happen, that they'll build the road first and then they'll build the houses at a much later stage, but I could be wrong on that one.
Excuse me. Does that mean, though, because it's not all in our parish, that means somebody else would get a pot as well? So
they'll allocate 106 money, say £5,000, whatever it be, for such a huge development, I don't know.
Yeah.
And we would get the proportion of our land that's being built on, the proportion to what's been built.
Okay.
But
So it could be 50%.
But only when it's built.
But only when it's built, yes.
And that's
Okay,
10 to
so there's no
15 year
point in-
programme.
So, yeah.
The next community centre in
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah, it's a 15-year Woodlands.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
well,
So it's we can't add it into the community centre. One is miles off, and you're right, we can't. It would mean we never get the community
And
centre.
if they created Woodlands Parish Council, we wouldn't get fast forward.
No, John.
I'm not sure that, as a new boy, quite whether this is the right forum, but I like the thing that happens at Tring, where as you come into Tring, it has a sign saying, "Welcome to Tring," and it's an attractive sign. And I think that our village could do a little bit of delineation and focusing, so people say, "Oh yes, this is Aston Clinton," not rather you can't tell whether you're in it. And I'd like a little bit of focus on it.
It is on the wish list.
It's a good point, yeah.
Part of Greater Aylesbury.
You all know it's getting that way, but...
Twins with North Korea.
The place where all the houses are built underneath. Yeah, we all know that. Okay, so can we go back to the motion in hand, which is to agree on suitable project allocation 106 monies? I think we are proposing that they are allocated to the community centre.
I'll propose it.
I'll second it.
Okay, no one disagrees with me on that point before no, that's fine, okay. Who would vote for that allocation of those 106 monies? No. Wonderful. We're just about the end of the meeting, but when we do time allow the public to add further comments. If there are any public participation, I'm happy to take that now. Show.
I've just heard you discussing the 106 money. If there's any further monies coming in, do you think it might be prominent to have a chat with the football club and do something with a nice G4 pitch down the bottom there, which will then look in turn, and with all your wonderful new facilities that are in the park, and try and improve that, which will give you a rental income. People will want to use it, whereas they can't use it at the moment. The constant gates that are broken because they're being vandalised, and the football club purely don't have the funds to do anything with it.
Are you talking about the all-weather pitch?
Yeah, I think they're looking into it, aren't they?
I think they're actually looking. We had a meeting with them because the youth club and the football club have sort of come together to do things together, and we had a meeting with them last week. I can't remember. And they were talking about improving that. And
I'm just thinking, if you've got 106 money that's come in that it isn't allocated perhaps for the community, it could be, and then become a sports facility that the village can use.
Okay, thank you.
And second point, did the mysterious bike disappear?
I don't know. What happened to the bike?
I'm still waiting to hear back from police as to what the police seem to have disappeared since they moved to Aylesbury. They don't come back to me at all, but it's in the conference.
Oh, okay.
I thought for this meeting it wouldn't add to the ambience of the evening.
Well, I did leave it to
So
the public
I wheeled it
participation,
down.
because I've got two people that would buy it and put a donation into the council.
I've had 4 offers then now for that bike. Who knew?
Paul.
Thank you, Chairman. Just to go back to Russ's first point, got contacts in the football club on the Colts and the adult club, and I've been asking for several weeks for somebody to give me their email address. I think it's the lady who's involved in the...
With Vanessa.
Yeah. I'm still waiting because...
I have it if you want
Right,
it.
I'll get it after the meeting.
It's not
but-
Vanessa. It's the
Oh.
lady that...
Is it?
Are we talking about the Colts lady?
No, that's Joe Davis.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with the Colts,
What are you
but
talking
the senior, the adult club, Aston Clinton Football
about? I
Club.
deal with Vanessa all the time. I didn't know you needed her email address.
Okay, I didn't know. Okay.
Yes, Vanessa Cousins.
I'll give you that now.
So the guys in the football who are involved in the football keep saying, we'll get Vanessa's details to you and you can...
okay, like, yeah.
Okay,
That
so
can be
to
done.
go back to Ross's point about if we've got any spare money, I don't think we'll have large sum. I mean, the 4G pitch, you're talking 100k plus easily, probably double that maybe. So we need all the money we can get for the community centre. We've still got $1 million plus delta gap to fill. The FA starting this season in August, the new season, starts the new TV money, which is megabucks, and the FA get a kickback from that of hundreds of millions to invest in grassroots football. So what I've been saying to the football club is, come to me and I'll help you get access to the FA money through the website, and that's what they should go for, because the FA is going to have tons of money to give away every year to build 4G. That thing's about 20 years old, falling apart, it's dangerous, it's full of sand and you just fall over all the time, it's not great. And for the very reasons you said, but I just don't think they're particularly... The Colts are very positive, dynamic, in a year they've done loads of things, the adult club's a little bit behind that, so they need a bit of a kick to get them going, excuse the pun. Yeah, the money's there, they just need to apply for it, and they haven't so far. And I can't apply on their behalf, it needs to be the football club that does it. But the money's there in the FA.
Toby?
Can I just clarify ownership? Is it parish council owned?
No.
No.
Football club.
They own it.
Parish council land.
It's our land.
The peppercorn rent should be.
Well, Chair,
Yeah.
there was
Okay.
someone from the...
Yeah.
Sorry,
Ed?
They don't.
Two associated points that come up from items read. The first, they're both concern sort of safety issues. The first is in connection with Peter's idea of the seat around the Stablebridge Road chestnut, which I fully support. But just want to point out those two trees in the time I've been here, there have been two serious branch falls. One came on a car, one came across the path. Very, very serious, huge branches, and that's over 30 years or so. But could we, I just noticed that the branches are starting to look pretty, they're starting to look as though there's some pretty big ones. Whose responsibility would it be to have a risk assessment? Because particularly people walk under there all the time, people drive under there, and if we're thinking about a seat under there, it's sort of more of a risk, it's a risk register issue really.
Okay.
Bucks County Council carried out maintenance work on that probably about 4 weeks ago.
Canopy trimming.
Yeah.
Right, I'm out of date then. Yeah. So
Okay.
So it's Bucks County Council
Yes,
responsibility, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they took one that was coming over in the woods at the side of your place.
So
The big
probably
trees.
public stuff on that as well. Second issue was also a safety issue with when you mentioned risk register. The previous council voted to have a water audit on the council's pond. Has that happened yet? Yeah.
Yes.
Brilliant. Rossburn.
Yes.
And Rossborough have that.
Have you got a boat? Yes.
We're not actually joking.
We're not.
No, we're not
I'm
joking.
struggling
You've
with
got to
this.
put a
The sign
sign
has to go in the middle of the
in the
pond.
middle of the pond.
And we can't walk out to
I'm
it.
not quite sure how to do that. So
No, we
I've
try
got
and find a bit
phone
of
call.
trousers up.
No, we reckon it's too deep. We reckon
Colin's very tall.
even for Colin it's too deep. So they have to put a sign in the middle of the pond and we have to cut that tree down.
Right.
But and to remove it, because obviously the tree could encourage children to climb up it. But we don't take the tree down first because you might need to use the tree to get the sign in the pond. Toby?
I don't have a boat, but I know a man who does have a little folding.
But then you try and think about it.
Ah.
The other, we were talking about if you actually went out on the boat with the sign, how do you make sure you're banging the sign?
You get a leverage.
It's
don't
Aston
you?
Clinton,
You
it's
don't tip the
not
boat
That's what
over.
it will be.
Yeah.
Welcome the challenge.
Let's just film the frame.
Okay, well, I'm going to be sorting this out, and I've not found anyone who will go out there yet. Do it, anything anyway. I'll talk about it offline.
Parish Council, volunteer.
Volunteer over there. Okay, and I'll talk to Toby later. So yes, we are dealing with that.
Thank you, that was all.
Is there any other comments in the public at all? Okay. On that basis, we'll just discuss the date of the next meeting, which is
Wednesday the 1st of June.
Okay. And therefore, meeting is closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.